government considers going to the CCJ after having to call off a planned referendum. Our top story in Caribbean Newsline for Tuesday, April 9th. From the CMC News Center in Bridgetown, I'm Dawn Paris. Good evening. Prime Minister Dean Barrow says Belizeans will vote in a referendum on whether the country should take its decades-old border dispute with Guatemala to the International Court of Justice, the ICJ. It won't be Wednesday as originally planned, but the Prime Minister says he expects that within a matter of weeks there will be a referendum. His declaration came late Monday after the government failed to get the Court of Appeal to overturn an injunction granted last week by Chief Justice Kenneth Benjamin, blocking the vote. The injunction had been granted to the opposition People's United Party, PUP, which insisted that the Barrow administration had not followed the right procedure in going to a referendum. And the government went to the Court of Appeal seeking an urgent hearing of its appeal. But the court said it could not entertain that until 21 days from the date the grounds of appeal were filed. Despite his government's failure to get the Court of Appeal to hear the matter, Prime Minister Barrow announced there will be a vote by June. And he also addressed the possibility of going to the Caribbean Court of Justice, the CCJ.
I am in no doubt that we will be having a referendum on going to the ICJ no later than 6 to 8 weeks from the originally scheduled date. Where do we go from here? We must look at whether, in fact, we can get before the CCJ quickly for the hearing of the appeal which the Court of Appeal could not hear. In other words, we must at least examine the possibility of having the highest court of our country look at the Chief Justice's decision.
The opposition has insisted that the government go to Parliament first before going to a referendum. But the Prime Minister said even if the government did go to Parliament to pass legislation to fix what he described as the possible mischief the Chief Justice flagged in coming to his decision to issue the injunction is still in the way of holding the referendum.
If we were to fix the law, which we will in any event ultimately do, that does not lift the injunction. The Chief Justice, and I also think this is one of his errors, described his order in the widest possible terms. He said that all of us, and in particular the Chief Elections Officer, all of us are restrained from holding the injunction until after he would have tried the entire case. A number of things about that. With no disrespect to the Chief Justice, he's not exactly known for timely, fast hearings and quick delivery of decisions. So, if we were to simply rest content with that order as it is currently framed, there is no telling when on earth we would ever be able to have the referendum.
Prime Minister Barrow was also critical of the opposition, saying that while he had tried to keep his campaign for a yes vote in the referendum above partisan politics, the court action by the PUP was part of its delayed tactics and amounts to an effort to stymie Belizean democracy and deprive the Belizeans of their right to choose. But opposition leader John Briceño has denied that his party is playing politics. He says the government just needs to pull back on its rush to a referendum and instead use a bipartisan approach.
Government should hit the pass button. I don't think there's no magic as to having the referendum on the 10th of April, this Wednesday, or even next month. I believe that it is time for the Prime Minister to seriously sit down with the opposition, for us to stop playing around with such an important issue. This is not a political issue. This is an issue of national importance where we should be addressing it together as a people, not PUP versus UDP, but as Belizeans. So today my appeal to the Prime Minister is, let's hit the pass button, let's sit down and talk with respect to one another and see how we can move this process forward.
Briceño says a lot would still have to be done before the government can properly hold a referendum.
The educational campaign has to be well balanced and well resourced, and that has not happened. There are a number of pieces of legislation that needs to be amended, like the Maritime Areas Act, the Referendum Act, the People's Representation Act. All of these needs to be corrected, and I don't see how that can be corrected between now and Friday or next week to be able to have a referendum, say within 30 days. So there's a lot of work ahead of us. That is why for us it is important to hit the pass button.
Haiti's President Jovenel Moïse on Tuesday announced Jean-Michel Le Pen as the new Prime Minister. In a post he made on Twitter before leaving the country for a visit to Panama, Moïse confirmed the appointment of the former Culture and Communications Minister, who had been serving as acting Prime Minister ever since March 21st, when a majority vote in the Chamber of Deputies ousted then Prime Minister Jean-Henri Séan. Le Pen was one of 3 people being considered for the job, and Moïse said he was selected after consultations with the presidents of the Chamber of Deputies and the Senate. Le Pen will spend the next few days forming his government before going before the Chamber of Deputies and the Senate to be ratified with a vote on his political program. He has spent several years in public administration, having started as a courier, and he has served under the last 4 Haitian presidents. The Antigua and Barbuda government has reached an agreement with Carnival Cruise Lines following the company's earlier decision to cancel several scheduled calls to the island. The agreement follows the latest round of talks in Miami last weekend. A joint statement issued on Monday night said that at the conclusion of the discussions, both parties agreed to an arrangement that provides a foundation for Carnival to continue to operate in the Twin Island nation for many more years to come. It noted that while some calls were rescheduled, others that were being considered for cancellation would now continue as planned, but Prime Minister Gaston Brown has declined to give details of the agreement.
We are not at liberty to give any details. All I can say to you is that there's a win-win solution, and we're looking forward to a continued and sustainable relationship with Carnival, one that is mutually rewarding, and one that would ensure that the people of Antigua and Barbuda could benefit from increased calls and increased revenue.
And although the government has welcomed the agreement, the leader of the opposition United Progressive Party, Harold Lovell, says the administration failed in its original mission to get all the cancelled ships to return to Antigua. He says the government also needs to provide more answers to the population about the deal reached with Carnival.
We need answers as to what has happened, and we need to understand that in that said agreement, in that same agreement, there is no mention of global ports holding. Now, that is amazing also, because in the concession agreement, Global Ports has the exclusive right to deal with the cruise lines. And so here we have an agreement coming out, or a memorandum coming out, which speaks to the government, that they will be dealing with the government or an agent appointed by the government. There's no mention at all of Global Ports.
Controversial legislation to take away the wealth acquired by crime is passed in Trinidad and Tobago with opposition support. The details after the break.
Hi, my name is Robert Briggs, and this is my wife and daughter. This is Elle, and this is my wife, Mary Lee.
Hi.
We're here talking about interracial couple. We've been married for 2 years now. We met amongst friends, and everything's been great since then.
Yeah, I don't really, think of ourselves as an interracial couple.
Well, apparently $30 million doesn't buy what it used to, especially if your wish list includes taking down a sitting president of the United States. Approximately $30 million was spent on the Mueller investigation of candidate Donald Trump and whether Trump colluded with Russia to fix the U.S. election in 2016. $30 million and we get no evidence of collusion. So the same people who were saying in 2018 that Trump would have to accept the Mueller conclusion
We continue in Trinidad and Tobago, where the controversial unexplained wealth legislation was passed Monday night at the end of a near 12-hour debate and with full support from the opposition United National Congress, UNC. The Civil Asset Recovery and Management and Unexplained Wealth Bill, which seeks to recover wealth acquired through criminal activity, was passed unanimously with amendments, some proposed by the opposition, others put forward by the government. In a statement issued after the bill was passed, the UNC said opposition leader Kamla Prasad Besessar had fought the government by proposing more than 60 amendments that totally changed the bill and ensured citizens would not be at risk. It said the changes made sure the property of law-abiding citizens could only be subject to the legislation if it was acquired and associated with the commission of specified offences in the Proceeds of Crime Act. Speaking on TTT's Now Morning Show on Tuesday, National Security Minister Stuart Young said the legislation will focus on major criminals.
This piece of legislation does now, it allows law enforcement through the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, from the Commissioner of Police and up to the rank of above Inspector, as well as the Comptroller of Customs and Excise and the Chairman of the Board of Inland Revenue, to really have some teeth in the fight against white-collar corruption in particular. Persons who have total asset value of under $500,000 are not caught in this bill. So what they call the small people, the small man, they're not caught by this piece of legislation. So to take that fear factor out of it, that is one of the amendments that came with yesterday and that was agreed to and passed. The second thing is, this is only for criminal investigations that are linked to serious crime.
Meantime, the National Security Minister says there will be no bail for gun offenders and increased fines for repeat offenders under new legislation the government will take to Parliament shortly. Young disclosed the plan for tougher laws to deal with gun offenders at a media conference on Tuesday.
Intend to go to Parliament to make it for when you're held with illegal firearms, no bail. So automatically, no bail for the period of 120 days. During that 120-day period, the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service will work on the prosecution of these individuals who are found with illegal firearms.
Young added that sentencing for crimes committed with illegal firearms will also be restructured.
Sentencing and penalty, tiered sentencing and penalty system for repeat firearm offenders, illegal firearm offenders. You're caught the first time with an illegal firearm, this is the sentence, this is the amount of fine. You're caught for a second time, I want it increased massively. So we take it up another tier. You're caught the third time, strikeout, massive sentence, massive fine.
A European Union EU delegation met with government and opposition stakeholders in Guyana on Monday, highlighting the need for good governance and a working democracy in the country's current political climate. We get more from Newsroom Guyana's Isanella Patois.
Members of the European Union are visiting Guyana at a time when the country awaits a ruling of the Caribbean Court of Justice on a no-confidence motion passed against the government on December 21, 2018. Following a meeting with Attorney General and Minister of Legal Affairs, Basil Williams, on Monday, head of the Department of the European Union, Hernie Vedetic, noted that the team wanted to get a sense of the political situation in the country.
But for us, it's important to see that there is a good governance and that the democracy is working. The principles are respected of democracy. This is what we heard, and we are satisfied with what we heard.
Minister Williams said he gave an overview of the prevailing situation following the no-confidence vote against the government on December 21, 2018.
I give them an overview of the prevailing situation in terms of the holding of elections in all the circumstances and the issues that were raised in the courts, both at the first instance level and in the Court of Appeal, and the issues that are being taken to the highest court, the Caribbean Court of Justice.
The delegation of the European Union also met with Minister of Public Security Kemraj Ramjatan and plans to meet with opposition leader Bharat Jagdeo and others in the coming days.
St. Lucia's Prime Minister Alan Chastanet has denied reports that his Public Service Minister Dr. Ubaldus Raymond has resigned. There had been media reports that the minister stepped down following the release of a telephone recording between a male said to be him and a woman with a foreign accent. Chastanet, who had initially said he had no comment to make on the situation, told reporters outside Parliament on Tuesday that he wanted to get to the bottom of what actually transpired. He says there is an investigation into the matter and he would not be able to comment on it at this point. Ahead in Newsline Sport, a West Indies fast bowling legend has a caution for the new CWI president. Stay with us.
Jamaican dancehall artist Beanie Man is going to be Stoneboy's next collaborator. This announcement was made by the Ghanaian reggae artist who recently won the Kids' Choice Award for Favorite African Star. Although he has not revealed the release date or title of the track, he made it clear that the song should be out later this year. This is not the first time Stoneboy has worked with Jamaican stars who have influenced his music.
For the first method, I'm going to coat the shrimp in the dry cornstarch and then I'm going to dip it in the batter. You want to do this step. If you want to, just place them back into the hot oil for about a minute.
West Indies fast bowling cricket legend Michael Holding has cautioned newly elected Cricket West Indies President Ricky Skerritt against making knee-jerk decisions after replacing Dave Cameron as head of the regional cricketing body. We get the details in this TVJ Sport report.
A report surfaced recently suggesting that Skerritt could relieve interim head coach Englishman Richard Pybus of his job as he looks to hire a regional coach following a board meeting that will be held on Tuesday. But Holding has sent out a warning.
Changing the coach for the World Cup.
Yeah.
We need to sit down with the current players now and think and have a discussion with them and say to them, what do you think? Because they are the ones that are going to be affected. We sitting down in our living rooms watching it, we will not be affected.
Holding went further to say that the new president must look beyond the Cricket World Cup as he seeks to implement his own mandate for West Indies cricket.
Cricket and the future of West Indies cricket. Do we only just want to win the World Cup? That argument that you just gave me and that class that you're taking is the reason why I resigned off of West Indies cricket committee many years ago when your fellow Trinidadian was the president and caused a big uproar because all you were thinking about was winning the World Cup. We need to think about the future of West Indies cricket.
Antigua and Barbuda's Prime Minister Gaston Brown has hailed the remarkable debut of West Indies fast bowler Alzarri Joseph in the Indian Premier League, the IPL. Joseph bagged an IPL record of 6 wickets for 12 runs in 3.4 overs last Saturday in India to mark his debut and fire Mumbai Indians to a 40-run victory over Sunrisers Hyderabad at the Rajiv Gandhi International Stadium. The 22-year-old Antiguan got a late call to be part of the tournament as a replacement for injured New Zealand pacer Adam Milne, and he surpassed the previous IPL best of 6 wickets for 14 runs, which was set by Pakistani left-arm pacer Sohail Tanvir 11 years ago. Joseph also became only the 4th bowler to take 6 wickets in an IPL match. Prime Minister Brown said his performance was phenomenal and he has proven that he has the talent and exceptional determination to succeed in the game of cricket. The Antiguan leader added that he anticipates greatness from Joseph as the series progresses. The fast bowler is expected to be on the Mumbai side on Wednesday when they face Kings 11 Punjab. A half-century from Andre Russell and a tidy spell from fellow West Indies star Sunil Narine failed to secure a victory for Mumbai Indians on Tuesday as they went down to Chennai Super Kings CSK by 7 wickets. Russell continued in fine form with the bat with an unbeaten 50 to prop up Mumbai's batting and carry them to 108 for 9 off their 20 overs. Off-spinner Narine followed up with 2 wickets for 24 runs from 3.2 overs. But South Africa international Faf du Plessis hit 43 not out to lead a successful run chase for CSK with 16 balls remaining. CSK had stumbled to 35 for 2 in the 5th over after Narine had former Australia captain Shane Watson caught at square leg for 17 in the 3rd over and Suresh Raina caught at mid-on for 14. Earlier, Russell cracked 5 4s and 3 6s off 44 balls and saved Mumbai Indians from total implosion after they plunged to 47 for 6 in the 11th over. Antigua and Barbuda has failed to qualify for the 2019 CONCACAF Under-17 Championship after suffering a 2-0 defeat by the Dominican Republic in the deciding Group B match on Sunday. The Dominican Republic became the 20th and final team to qualify after Franklin Rodriguez scored 2 goals early in the second half. He broke the deadlock in the first minute of the second half and then extended his side's lead 10 minutes later. The Dominican Republic's victory against Antigua and Barbuda moved them to the top spot in Group B with 9 points. Play will resume for the championship round from May 1st to 16th. Athletes participating in this year's CaribVision Games are gearing up for the Easter weekend tournament. In this report from ZNS Sports, we hear from some of the Bahamian players about their preparations.
Anthea Charlton, Shawnice Miller, Kenya Forbes, Colonique Farrington, Javonia Valcott, Brianna Kemp, Rolia Joseph, Akia Lightborn, Jody Ritchie, Rashad Dean, and Anne-Marie Oraki. Under 17 boys, Devon Johnson, Omar Kelly, Dejanis Levinsky, Mitchell Curtis, Keyshawn Strawn, Otto Lang, Wendell Miller, Stephen Farquharson, Mateo Smith, and Denzel Sawyer. Under 20 girls, Jada Knowles, Kayvon Stubbs, Marissa White, Megan Morse, Jasmine Knowles, Gabrielle Gibson, Vinjay Adley, Rima Ottaba, Latia Sanders, Kasha Neela, and Hiltrinique Pinder. Under 20 boys, Adrian Curry, Rico Moultrie, Joel Johnson, Yuri Mills, Terrence Jones, Marcus and Joseph, Justin Bridgewater, Gabriel Curtis, Sean Miller, Travis Joseph, Devon Rims, Michelangelo Bullitt, Huey Sean Roll, Oscar Smith, Matthew Thompson, Edvon Carey, Patrick Johnson, and Vano Raming. The head coach is Alverson Ali Roll. He will be assisted by Corrington Maycock, Clinton Smilkill, Nakino Demerit, Alan Mortimer. The team doctor is Nadia Gilbert, physiotherapist Kelly Crump. The manager is Doris Ramsey, and assistant manager Sophia Higgs.
This season I had pretty good expectations. They were pretty high because I know once I practice I get results, and basically I just want to bring home a medal for my country. What my expectation is obviously to lower my time. I'm hoping the medal on the Griffin team hopefully is a gold medal that I can bring home for my country.
My expectation to definitely repeat as a 3-time gold medalist in the 400 meters. Try and attempt to go for the record once again. This is just my second Caribbean, so I ain't getting my hopes way up, but I still see myself getting a medal.
I think we have strength on the 20 boys. 200 meters on the 20 boys, 100 meters. We have strength inside on the 17 girls. We had 4 qualifiers on the 17 girls, 800, even though we only could carry 2. So I have to tell you that the athletes been performing at the peak at this time of the year, so we can go a mighty long way.
And that's the sport. We'll be right back.
Over 1,000 dragon boat paddlers and supporters from countries like Canada, Panama, and the United States gathered at the Pigeon Point Heritage Park for the 4th biannual Pan American Dragon Boat Crew Championships. The park's water conditions are exceptional. One side is famous for its clear, calm waters, while the other side has deeper, choppier waters that's perfect for visitors who are into sports such as dragon boat racing.
How do you go about doing these projects in various places?
In Barbados, what I do, one of my board members is a journalist. So I usually get stories from her of people who are in need, and that's how I usually find folks in Barbados. In the U.S., I usually work with child care services, and they usually give me the names of kids who are in need.
Again, the major developments of this day, the Belize government considering going to the CCJ after having to put off a planned referendum on taking its border dispute with Guatemala to the ICJ. And in sport, fast bowling West Indies legend Michael Holding cautions the newly elected CWI president against making knee-jerk decisions. And that's Caribbean Newsline. For news and sport round the clock, subscribe to CanadaNews.com, and for more programming, log on to CaribVision.tv and check out our YouTube channel. We'll be back here again tomorrow, but for more at CMC News, thank you for watching and have a good night.